Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our 8th episode of the New Now. I'm so excited to keep adding on my shared knowledge and also, every time. Welcome, everybody. Good afternoon, good morning, good night. It depends where are you now, where are you listening me from. This is Elena Buriani. I'm the CEO and the co-founder of Lea Growing People. I'm also a family and a team coach. And here today in our 8th episode of the New Now, we are focusing on the judge. I really want to thank you for the opportunity you give me to keep, exploring my learning, my awareness together with you, because every time I do share what are my thoughts and my even knowledge around those topics, I feel, they get reinforced and they get more clarity into my head, into my body. And this really helped me to improve in my practices daily. So I thank you, and I thank you publicly, all my clients, because I really can tell how much I do expand every time I tap into my client's judge. And definitely the judge is one of the most common presence we bring along with us on our daily life since a very, very early stage of our childhood, I would say. And it's very interesting, but also powerful and mind-blowing and, breathtaking. And I bring in the words of some of my clients, the journey that we need to take to get to know our judge. I know that everybody loves to be in a space that is a judgment-free zone. When we feel we are okay, we are fine, we are welcome. We don't need to justify ourselves. We don't need to struggle to feel that we are enough. But unfortunately, the judge shows up in many circumstances and in many relationships and in many self-talk in our head, let's say. So I would love to guide you through a journey, a complete journey that would let us know a little bit more about the judge, his description, his characteristic, his thought, his feeling, his justification lies, the impact on ourselves and on others, and eventually, also his original function, his original survival function, I would say. The saboteur, for sure, is the universal. The judge is for sure the universal saboteur. What do I mean by saboteur? I mean those negative self-voice, those negative feelings that sometimes we carry along with us, and we bring us wherever we go. And for sure, the judge is that saboteur that is afflicting everyone. I've never met anybody with no judge. Did you? So it's the one that beat us up repeatedly, almost obsessively. Yeah, for every mistake we do, for every shortcomings, it really obsesses us constantly, letting us being aware of the risks that are out there. Yeah, when I'm talking about obsessiveness, could also be that you wake up at night. It makes us thinking, avoiding to fall asleep. It gives us cramps in the stomach, colic, digestive difficulties, It makes us really get stuck into what is not working in the other people, what is not working in the circumstances that we are living obsessively. I don't like that. I don't like this. I cannot handle this. I cannot handle that. I cannot stand this. I cannot stand that, obsessively, like, not stopping voice in our head, and it really get us fixated with what is wrong in our life. It's like, you are wearing a type of lens that only make you see mistakes. They only make you see wrong thing. They only make you see the things that are different from how you would love them to be. It's our greater internal enemy. Yeah, it activates. It's so strong that he also had the power to activate all the other saboteurs, all the other limiting voices, such as the victim, the hyperachiever, the stickler, the hyper-rational, the controller, the avoider, the hyper-vigilant, and you name it, and is the origin of our stress. So our stress lies into the judge. Our unhappiness lies in our judge, and our effectiveness, it's pretty much reduced by our judge. We have a duty as human being. If you really want to protect the relationship we are into, as a manager, if you want to protect our colleague and our reports, our team member we work with, and as a parent, if we want to protect our children, we have the duty and we have the responsibility to conquer our judge, to become 100% in ownership of everything that we do, we think, we behave, and have more fun along the way, without feeling that stress, without waking up at night, and really being able to not be hijacked all the time by those things that we don't want to really take all of us without even us having control on what's going on. Okay, so that's definitely something that we can definitely achieve. It's not impossible. I have been in this journey, and I need to tell you, it's a journey that never ends. Because, to be honest, the more we grow, the more we like to explore a new zone, new uncomfortable zone. And every time we do go into a new zone, we do expose ourselves to risks. We do expose ourselves to danger. We do expose ourselves to not knowing, not being yet able to. And when we enter into this space, of course, the judge might hit in, letting us doubt about ourselves, letting us doubt about what we're doing, letting us doubt about what the other people are doing. So the more we grow, the more we expose ourselves to new circumstances, the more there's the chance that our judge will show up. So even if we learn today to get to know our judge better, this doesn't mean that we will need to get to know him again, and that we will need to discover a new part of him, new way of expressing himself in a near future. So it's a journey that keeps happening on a constant daily basis. Of course, with growth, we will also realize to be more aware and say, when am I entering in an area that for me might be felt as a dangerous area, as a risky area, and as a protective defense, as a defense of myself, I tend to call in action my judge. So we really need to be aware that when we are entering in those spaces, and be ready to take everything into consideration, including the judge itself, Very good. So I really now want to go into describing a little bit more the judge. Yeah. So the judge finds faults in the self, in others, and in the circumstances. I'm going to repeat that because it's going to be important. It finds faults, mistake in the self, in other people, and in the circumstances. It causes much of our disappointment, anger, regret, guilt, shame, anxiety, and as I mentioned, activate all the other saboteurs. So if we are able to work onto the judge, we will be able to lowering the voices of all other accomplices saboteur. So that's extremely important for us to start with the judge. What are the judge characteristics? So when we talk about judging ourselves, so towards the self, the characteristic of the judge is badger the self for the past mistake or the current shortcomings. Yeah. So why you did that? Why you are not doing this? So they're not even able to project it on the later future, because we feel that the risk is so imminent, and we feel that we are still paying the effect of what we have done in the past, that we cannot even being empowered to see nothing more than that. So past mistake or current shortcomings. When we are judging the others instead, we really focus on what is wrong with the other person rather than appreciate. And we tend to enter into those inferior, superior comparison. I'm better than him, he's worse than me. He's better than me in that, I'm so bad in this. So it's always putting me away from the other. This sense of connectedness, of being part of the whole, is not there any longer. It's a kind of a battle. We are putting ourselves on different levels. And a nice metaphor I also want to give it, like being on a seesaw when a person is empowered and the other is disempowered. So when we are into judging others, or when we have the fear that the other are judging us, then this balance between my and the other person power get completely ruined and shaked. When I'm judging circumstances, I insist a circumstance or an outcome is bad, rather than see it as a gift and an opportunity. So try to imagine how many of us, we found ourselves in the position of saying COVID is bad. This situation, this circumstances of lockdown is terrible. So it's really important. Yes, it is. COVID is bad. It has been bad for many people, has impacted so many lives, so many countries, so many circumstances. But if we want to live quietly and still be happy in this specific circumstance, we need to start to appreciate where is the gift and the opportunity that might get out from living this time, this circumstance, which could be, for example, reducing the time in transportation, which could be, for example, having more time for myself, having more time to focus in my inner world instead of the outer one, having more time to reflect, having more time to really value what are those friendships and those people that I really want to struggle to keep that relationship going despite the distance, despite the difficulties. So we'll resonate with that. So there's definitely a gift and an opportunity in any circumstance, despite we are not able to see it right now. I want to now tap into what are the judge's thoughts. What is wrong with me? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with my circumstances? What is wrong with this outcome? What is wrong with my mom? What is wrong with my son? What is wrong with me? What is wrong with my skin? What is wrong with my hair? What is wrong with my body? What is wrong with my thought? What is wrong? And when this will end? It needs to end now. It's unsustainable. It's unacceptable. What is really, really also important is that I have noticed through my practice that sometimes people think that the judge is a harsh voice, or is something that in our head it shouts, or something that drops something or somebody that drops on ourselves a lot of bad words, that is angry, that it's fearful, etc. But actually, you might also have a very quiet and silent judge that doesn't even want to bother to give a feedback because it's so disgusted and detached from everything that you do and everything that you are, that is not even taking the time to talk with you, poor and horrible thing. So do not really be very curious, and don't think that there's a specific way a judge should be. Your judge might come up in so many different forms, and it's okay. Nobody will be able to say your judge should be da 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 da. It's okay, whatever thing you will discover. So, in addition to the thoughts, there are also the feelings. If we really try to connect with the judge as it were a real entity or a real person or a real, let's call it partner, companion that lives together with us since long time potentially, we need to start really seeing him as a part of ourselves, but not as us entirely. So he's holding onto his specific characteristic, his or her, or its specific characteristic, to his specific thoughts, to his specific feeling. It's not us. It's not us completely. So his feeling might be guilt, regret, shame, disappointment, being disgusted, anger, anxiety, this type of excitement that is so much under control that it leads into excessive reaction. All of those, they really can be instigated by the judge. So I really invite you, when you find yourself with any of this feeling, try really to detach from being those feelings and try to understand who is carrying those feelings for you. Who is that part within yourself that took the role of the judge and that is bringing, pushing, or maybe unfolding up on you all those feelings? Very interesting now, that justification lies. What does it mean? I've been receiving this feedback from many clients. But if I wouldn't have my judge, I wouldn't push myself further. I wouldn't achieve that. I wouldn't achieve this. Is my fire, is my back burner will really tell me, go for more, do it better. But actually, these are all lies. Our judges, they keep telling us, well, if it wasn't for me pushing you, you will get very lazy. You will be complacent and you won't get to anything. Without me punishing for your mistakes, you will keep repeating the same mistake. You won't learn from them and you will be, trapped in a loop. Without me scaring you about the future outcomes, you will not be risk-taking. You will not be risk managing. You will not be preventing the risk out there. If it wouldn't for me helping you judging other, you will lose your objective. And you want to protect your self-interest. And maybe people around you, they will take advantage on you. They will use you. If it wasn't for me making you feel bad about a bad outcome, you won't do anything to change it. If it wasn't for me telling you that this things is not made enough well, you won't have quality in your work. You won't be detailed oriented. If it wasn't for me telling you that there might be a risk there, you would throw yourself in something dangerous without having enough information, and so far and so on. Do you resonate with that approach? It ever happens to you that you hear those voices? Yeah? So the judge is also telling us you can only be happy when this circumstance will be over. You will only be happy when this person will change. You will only be happy when yourself will become a different person. So they keep procrastinating, and it's never now. It's never now our time to just be happy and enjoy for who we are and appreciate what we can see and receive from the other person and be grateful for the circumstances we are living. It will always be a conditional happiness. And happiness that is conditioned by the fact that these things will happen, that you will be different, that that person will change. There is a lot of justification line that we think we are correct, but actually we can achieve the same results without having those negative push. And this is the goal, of doing mental fitness, of exercising and training our brain to think differently. The reason why, the judge continue constantly to impact on ourselves and on the others, is also the origin of many relationship conflicts, leadership conflicts, communication conflicts. Because as I mentioned before, how can you put yourself into a relationship if you are not empowering yourself? And how you can create a very powerful relationship if you are disempowering the other person? So when we are into an unhealthy relationship, we really want to feel the other person doesn't feel pushed by us or judged by us. We want that there's a common intention to move further together and to reach a common happiness. If the judge is there, if you're not able to create a judgment-free zone, everything's going to be very harsh in the relationship. Now we have been saying a lot about how the judge can influence our current situation and how the judge might eventually have affected all our past life. But it's really very important to understand that there's nothing bad of still having the judge with us. There's nothing bad we should judge ourselves for not have been able yet to be aware of how the judge is present in our life. I don't know how old are you, but I'm 39, and I have realized that I'm living with my judge since maybe when I was in the womb of my mom. And talking with other colleagues of mine, coaches, and even client, we have all been able to understand when was the specific time where the judge take his role as a character in the play, in the script we are writing for our life. I'm sure if you go back, and now I'm tapping into the original survivor function of the judge. If you go back, now that you have understood a little bit more, what is the voice that your judge has? When is he showing up? How is impacting on yourself, other, and circumstances? I'm sure that if you stop for a second and you try to review and rewind your life back, you might be able to connect to that precise moment when you asked for help and this entity showed up in your life, taking his role very, very seriously. A bias towards noticing, exaggerating, and reacting to the negative thing is a central survival strategy. We start having this since we're born because we want to survive. The reason why we are crying when we are angry is because we want to survive. The reason why we cry when we have stomach pain, we are going through, for the first time understanding how our intestine work when we have a couple of weeks, is because we have pain, we want to survive. The reason why the judge showed up in our life, potentially when we were really, really small, is because it wanted, and we wanted, that the chances to be surprised and harmed by others or by unanticipated dangers out there was reduced. We call him or it or her or whatever you want to call it, this entity, on board to take a role in our life because we wanted to be protected by being harmed, but being in physical, emotional, exposed by physical or emotional danger. So the judge has a key function. We cannot survive without the judge itself. So without, regardless any circumstances, regardless any people around us, regarding any upbringing, this has been called into action in a specific moment of our life to protect us from something. So my invitation today, it's really take away with you this. Stop for a moment and think, when has been this moment in your childhood or even in your teenager age where you had to call this shield, to activate this shield, this bodyguard in your life to protect yourself from what? And really try to depict what how does it look like? What is characteristic? What are his thoughts, his feeling? What are the justification line that is telling you? And find your one, your personal, because I know pretty much well mine. I know my colleagues judge, but I don't know your. And this is where your exploration can start. My other invitation is for the next 2 or 3 weeks, keep looking at it. Keep understanding, when is that judge showing up? When is this judge taking my hands and bringing me along with him without even me wanting to follow? How it comes in, what he makes me do, what he wants me to do, what he makes me believe, and try to be more and more aware on when it shows up. You can even journaling at night, all the time that you realize that you have been taken and brought away. That's definitely the most powerful insight I can give. And I know for sure that as soon as you will get disconnected from your judge and you will become to learn everything about this entity, you will start being able to manage it. So this, together with many more additional tips, are part of the Positive Intelligence program and are also part of all the fulfillment initial work that we usually start doing with our client as soon as they start their coaching journey. So if you find this session, reach out the information. If you feel you still want to get some more and you would love to explore together with me more in detail, what are those characteristic, feeling, thought, justification, lies, original survival function of your judge, please check to our Positive Intelligence landing page. Make sure you're going to book your free Positive Intelligence coaching session, and we can take it from there. We can start chatting about your judge. We can start exploring it a little bit deeper, and then even explore how, thanks to this initial journey, we can really unleash and tap onto all the other saboteur and find what really can make you the most powerful self, the most powerful and richer companion for the people that are in relationship with you, and the most powerful opportunity maker in all the circumstances you will be living from now going on. So this is everything from me. I really thank you so much for spending that time along with me. It has been very, very important. Please feel free to drop your comments here, and I will still be here for a while if you have any questions. Buongiorno, Danilo. I will be still online for a couple of minutes if there's anybody who has any questions. And please, 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 again, as mentioned, do not hesitate to get in touch with me and have your free Positive Intelligence session, potentially around your judge. So I see there's no questions. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day or of your night. If it's night, just sleep well. If it's morning, I wish you an amazing journey ahead. And thank you again. This is all from Elena Buriani, CEO, family and team coach at Leah Growing People. And this is the New Now, episode 8. Have a nice day. Bye. Ciao, Danilo.